The green revolution is coming for your gas grill, sure, but what it really wants is your wallet. Recently, the Wall Street Journal profiled a solar company that, quote, hit the subsidies jackpot. That jackpot, of course, coming out of your pocket. Get comfortable because there's a lot more coming. The jackpotter in question is a solar panel company called First Solar out of Arizona that is currently worth $19 billion despite making, quote, nearly 90% of its profits from taxpayer subsidies. One analyst expects it's in line to get, quote, more than $10 billion in handouts, roughly 4 times its annual sales. So you make $1 in the business, you make 4 from taxpayers. The journal helpfully adds that, quote, industry executives attribute the company's good fortune to luck and sharp elbows. Sharp elbows as in the company nearly tripled its lobbying budget in Washington. You make your own luck. First Solar now joins hundreds of companies gorging on the hundreds of billions of handouts that already went out in the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, which was a literal renaming of the World Economic Forum endorsed Build Back Better green scheme. Now, the Inflation Reduction Act had nothing to do with inflation, of course. This is Washington after all, but it does plan to hand somewhere north of $1 trillion to crony green companies from wind and solar to batteries and lithium. Much of that, of course, is going to foreign companies who are happy to feast on your tax dollars to appease the weather gods. Now, to be fair, crony handouts in solar has a long history, pretty much since the beginning of the industry. One famous example was Solyndra, an Obama-era recipient of $535 million in federal taxpayer loan guarantees, with California kicking in another $25 million. Yes, the numbers back then were a lot smaller. They were simpler times. Those subsidies poured in because Solyndra claimed to have discovered a revolutionary process of making solar that, when paired with a white roof, would completely transform the solar game. It was BS, of course, but then government bureaucrats are stupid and it's not their money anyway, and so the taxpayer money rained down upon Solyndra for their revolutionary white roof concept. You can guess what happened next. The product didn't really work, so competitors ate Solyndra alive. They were priced out of the market, filed for Chapter 11 less than a year after they opened. In the ensuing investigation, it turns out they had blown the taxpayer money on things like spa showers and a whistling robot, not a joke. Criminal probes were opened alleging the entire subsidy scheme was illegal, and the ensuing bankruptcy's, quote, primary purpose was tax avoidance. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. What's next is get ready for the Solyndra industrial complex. Joe Biden's green lobbyists are cranking them out assembly line style. Of course, the numbers are a lot bigger now. So it's not $535 million for Solyndra, it's $10 billion for First Solar, multiplied by hundreds and hundreds that are all going on your tab. Few industries outside weapons involve as much crony government handouts as the climate crisis. We have only begun to see the waste, the fraud, and the bailouts that are coming for taxpayers. A fresh episode of the podcast just went up. Check it out at peterstonge.com. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.